Good morning. I'm John Wolf. I'm Senior Director of Media Relations for Marriott International right up in Bethesda. And I want to thank IBM for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about our experience in blogging, which is right now about 7 months old and growing. And, and you're probably wondering, Marriott, you didn't expect to see somebody from Marriott up here talking about blogging. Our company is 80 years old this year. As you know, our chairman is 75 and doesn't use a computer. And I think what's so interesting about this from our perspective is it's the old adage of you can teach an old dog new tricks. And in this case, the old dog maybe can teach a few tricks. So I'm very happy to be here. And I just want to say that we sort of dipped our toe in blogging. It's the way it began. It started when we brought on a new executive vice president for global communications. Probably most of you, if you're Washington-based, know Kathleen Matthews. She came over and she was very much into this new media. And it was because of her leadership that we got this program underway. And I can tell you from sort of sticking our toe in the pool, this company is now ready to dive in full force. And the exciting part is it's all from the grassroots. We're getting calls. We're a global company from as far away as Asia, the UK, Chicago, wherever it is. Everybody in every division wants to have a blog. So it's sort of like holding the dogs off for a little while. So what I'm going to do today is just talk about our experience, from the germination of the idea to what we did to launch the blog to the successes that we've had, and then finish it off with where we plan to go in terms of blogging. That is the blog. If those of you have not read it, that is the blog. Now the question is, why are we blogging? Why is an 80-year-old hotel company blogging? So I guess the best way to describe it is, and I'm just going to read the words that Bill Marriott wrote in his first blog. And clearly, being an 80-year-old company, we began as a restaurant company. We evolved into many different things. Eventually, 50 years ago, we became a hotel company. So pioneering new frontiers, as Bill Marriott said, is how the company was built. Then the interesting thing is you have a 75-year-old CEO, and you're like, well, what's he doing blogging? The way we looked at it is he sort of blogs anyway, but he does it in his style, visiting 250 hotels, talking to customers, talking to our associates. So this comes naturally. This is an extension of what he already does. We're just doing it electronically as opposed to face-to-face or in letters. And as you see, we have a reputation in terms of communicating with our customers, in terms of providing excellent service. This was a great way to engage our customers, particularly our high-value customers, those who come to our hotels over and over again, Marriott Rewards members. And this was a great way to talk to that community, as well as reach some other communities. So in terms of the bigger picture, we knew people were talking about us anyway. There are other blogs out there. There are a lot of hotel blogs. There's a site called TripAdvisor.com where it's user-generated comment. People write about their experiences traveling into hotels. So we know they're talking about us. The idea is you can be a part of the conversation or you can ignore the conversation, but sooner or later you're going to have to be in the conversation. So it's better to be there now than have to jump in later. Also creating a sense of community. Again, reaching our high-value guests. This was not an associate blog, and I'll get into a little bit more about that later. This is strictly for customers. And there are a lot of people, as we discovered, who, because of our roots in this city and the fact we're 80 years old, there is already a community that's out there. This was a way to nurture it. So we said and it's a way to nurture younger travelers who are becoming a part of our community and talk with them directly. Our average traveler or average guest is about 40, 42 years old. It's constant. But what's happened, obviously, is the boomers are beginning to move out. They're still the majority, but now you're seeing the younger generation, the Gen X, and then eventually the Gen Y folks moving in. We need to be able to communicate with them, and we need to be able to show them that we're an innovative company. So it's about driving awareness about our company, about our chairman, about our culture, which is a very inclusive culture. And that was the purpose. That was another purpose of the blog. Clearly, we wanted to be seen as innovative. Being 80 years old, people don't necessarily look at you as innovative, but, considering some of the technology things that we've done fairly quietly, we actually are a fairly innovative company. Eventually, this hotel will have an exciting new panel that connects to your LCD television that will enable you to connect your laptop, your iPod, every single digital device out there pretty much known to man but a BlackBerry, and you can watch or listen to it on the television. So This was just another way to demonstrate that we are an innovation leader and also an early adopter, because in the hotel industry, we were the first, he was the first CEO to blog. There's one other right now, but we were the first one. So, what were the challenges? Mr. Marriott doesn't use a computer. He doesn't own a computer. He has an iPod. His grandkids got him the iPod. He has a cell phone. We use that for special occasions. So he does not use a computer. And you figure, okay, well, why him? Well, we figured out a way to overcome that, and I'll get to that a little bit later. Other issues, and being a publicly traded company, well, the SEC rules, so we have to be careful about what kind of information is disclosed. There are other issues from a legal perspective as well. There are HR issues. What can and can't be said? Can names of associates be used, or what kind of language? So in our terms of use, obviously, any comments that we get that are sexist, racist, whatever it is, we don't post that. So there were some legal issues that we needed to overcome as well, too. So we had to engage a fairly large community within Marriott to eventually get this up and running. Competing priorities. Well, like every company, we got a lot of things going on, and this was something new and it was something risky. And in a company our size, it's fairly bureaucratic. Things that are risky, sometimes, it's harder to get them to percolate up and get people to pay attention to them. So there were competing priorities. Also competing priorities within our department as well, too. So we needed to bring this up front and center. I'll talk a little bit about how we did that. And then clearly, obviously, you can go out there, and if it doesn't work, or if they're, I think it's fairly obvious. If you get comments or things start spreading in the blogosphere, whatever it may be, criticizing what you're doing, or maybe you say something that sparks a negative reaction, how do you deal with it? So there was obviously a lot of concern about that. And David talked about having, I guess it was a hard hide, and that was what was most exciting for us, was that we discovered something about the company. Our hide's pretty hard, and we can take it. But I'll tell you something else, and we'll get to the results when we get to the results section. The positives have outweighed any negatives, and there have been very few by a wide margin. So that was terrific. Next slide.